On the 18th August, 2011 I died numerous times on the resuscitation table due to third-stage heart block. I went through the whole drama of my heart stopping, flatlining repeatedly. Adrenaline and atropine were injected directly into my heart, and the shock paddles and chest depressions had to be used over and over again in a desperate effort to get my heart to beat again on its own. If I had any doubts about life after death, I have none now. Each time my heart stopped, my soul or consciousness left my body and went into other dimensions of existence. At first, I only remembered a little of what went on in those 3 hours of life and death struggle, but lately have begun to remember more and more about the strange otherworldly realms I saw during that time. Each time they got my heart to beat, I came back. I saw numerous people all gathered to welcome me into the afterlife. All my beloved were there. It seemed like a welcome home party, but as soon as the doctors got my heart to beat, I was drawn back to the earthly world. Another time I saw a tree with many books situated around it. Reading what was on the covers, I saw that they contained all the knowledge and mysteries of existence. One very large book seemed to consolidate what was in all the smaller books. When I tried to lift it, I found it was too heavy to carry, and I decided to return later for it. I saw a beautiful pulsating orb of golden light that I took for the Lord Jesus, as it emanated perfect peace and love. I had no tunnel or meeting of a being of light, I think because the medical team was continually resuscitating me. After 3 hours, the doctors installed a temporary pacemaker to maintain my pulse. I was told by the doctor that I had been really dead. The doctor said if I had arrived hospital even 5 minutes later it would have been impossible to revive me. I am 71 years of age now, and would not have minded if I had died then. I suppose there must be some things left for me to do, because a whole lot of favorable coincidences made it possible for me to survive. I had taken a nap on that Thursday night, and a dear friend of mine phoned late at night, a thing he had never done before. I woke up with heart going crazy, almost stopping. My wife immediately called the ambulance and they got to my home in 7 minutes flat. The hospital is less than a half kilometer from my home. I was there in 5 minutes, and when I got there, I received attention immediately. Note that if my friend did not phone me at the exact moment he did, I would never have woken up and died in my sleep. I now have a permanent pacemaker in my chest, which should last 10 years. Despite the great shock, I am feeling very alive and well. Also note that the medical term for what happened to me is complete atrial ventricle heart block. Love, Alan McDpreface. To the other events in my long life. From the time I was a little boy I knew and saw things that other people did not. Many people thought of me as a strange and enigmatic boy, and some still do as an adult. I often perplexed and even frightened my parents, family, and school teachers. I would wonder why my parents only greeted the people that came through the front door and ignored the lovely and sometimes very scary people that walked into the house through the walls. I knew when a person or family member was in pain or feeling unwell, just by looking at them and commenting about what was troubling them at the time. I could feel their pain and the area of the body from which the ailment was coming from. I remembered that, as a child, I had always had 3 ethereal friends, or childhood imaginary friends. Their names are Ginnery, Rough Raven and Claudius. Of course, they were my real guardian entities, or guardian angels if you like. These were referred to as my imaginary friends by my relatives, but how could a little boy of 3 come up with such complex names? I often told my parents and grandparents that I saw Jesus in heaven, that I even went swimming with him at times, informing them that he did not wear a dress or have a beard. I also heard repeatedly many strange sounds, voices, and could smell things that other people did not notice. An event that stands out vividly in my memory of this long ago time was having to walk a long distance home with my parents late at night, because we had missed the late night bus after a movie. I told my parents not to worry during the walk. I told them I would pray for a bus to come and pick us up on the way. I prayed, and a moment later, a bus came and stopped the driver, telling he would take us home free of charge. He dropped us off, to the amazement of my parents, right in front of our home in town. an account with an angel of God as a child of 6. As a small boy of 6 years of age, I took a way home from school that I knew was not safe, and my parents would not have known where I was or went if I got lost or hurt. There was a small narrow gravel path winding through a thick plantation of trees. It was about 1.5 miles long, and when I was deep into the plantation, I looked back and saw a large man with an evil grin on his face. I got really frightened and scared because I knew in my heart that he was out to hurt me in some bad way. I started to walk faster, but he just easily kept up. The faster I walked the faster he walked, all the time closing the gap between the two of us. The next thing, to my amazement, suddenly, there was a friendly man walking at my side. I looked back and saw that when the large bad man saw this nice person, he seemed startled and began to back off further and further until I could see him no more. As he continued to walk with me and guide me out of this thick plantation, the friendly man said, "Joe, my nickname, never, ever walk alone in this plantation again. Promise me that, Joe." I turned to thank him, but he was gone. He had simply disappeared. I really believe he was an angel who had taken on the form of a man. My frantic parents and aunt were searching all over for me. My Aunt Bessie told me later that she had finally found me at the exit of the narrow path. After I told her the story, she was convinced it was an angel from God. I did not really comprehend the event properly then, but as the years went by I came to know that God had sent one of his beautiful angels to save me. I love God. Love.